Hey, thanks for stopping by the channel. Make sure you're subscribed, checking out the bell icon down there so you can get notifications. Like, subscribe. Well, no, scratch that. Like, comment, and share. That's all I ask. So I just want to do a brief video talking about events from this afternoon. I was invited to speak at the 515 Freedom rally that was taking place here in Southeast Minnesota. Thanks to Zen Fusion of Rochester for allowing us to use their parking lot, and no thanks to Facebook for sending out cancellation notifications to everybody to try and get everybody to think that the International Day of Freedom was canceled. I mean, cancel international freedom. Well, I mean, that's what the Marxists have been doing for years. What I want to talk about is what I experienced today, and this is a positive. So here's what I saw. As I pulled up, I saw a parking lot. Oh, my hat's not straight. I saw a parking lot that wasn't very full. There had been about 125 or so people at the rally, and they had slowly started to trickle away by the time I was able to get here. I had some other things going on, and but what I saw were patriots. And here's the thing that we have to remember. Like, we sometimes will only consider events a success when there's a massive amount of people at them. Like, my rally or my protest is only effective when there's 350 people there, or 2,000 people there, or 3,000 people there. And my event is only a success based on the people I can draw to come and speak. And so here's what I saw today. I saw a lady who has invested herself in planning this event, who did a lot of hard work and invested a lot of her own time and money into an event that a lot of people in the realm of current culture would have called unsuccessful. It was just not practical or pragmatic to have an event that you're not going to have more than 100 or so people at. But here's the deal. When I got up to speak, there were maybe 40 people, 45 tops, and every one of them matters. Every one of them matters far more than any elected servant. Every one of them matters far more than any appointed servant. Every one of them is far more important than any person who could have spoken. Far more important than me. And here's why. They're the ones that make a difference. They're the ones that matter. They're the ones who go out and have the conversations with their neighbors and their neighbor's neighbor and with their family members. They're the ones that show up at school board meetings. They're the ones that'll show up at city council meetings and county board meetings. And they're the ones that'll hold county commissioners' feet to the fire. They're the ones that will show up at a school board meeting and be so vocal about what's being done wrong that the school board, like as I mentioned before, in Vail, Arizona, just quit because it wasn't going their way. Like, this is where it matters. Down here at the grassroots, whether you're white, black, Hispanic, Native, or Asian, or whatever mix thereof, this is where it matters, people. The reason why the left has had such success in the days, in the weeks, in the months, and the years gone by, the reason they have been so successful is that they have been able to organize at the local level. As I've talked about in other videos, Saul Alinsky was considered the first community organizer, the father or the grandfather of community organizing, and he was a leftist, he was a Marxist to the core. He was a Gramscian theorist. He was very good at what he did. But we can be that good too. And as I pointed out to people as I was speaking today, the 3% of people in the colonies before the War for Independence was fought and won. That 3% of people swayed a continent. A continent. Granted, it wasn't as fully developed and as settled as our nation is today, but they swayed a continent that was outgunned and outmanned by the British Empire. And they were outfinanced by the British Empire. 3%. Not some radical anti-government militia group like we have heard about people today, but an actual 3%. What I saw at this freedom rally today was the meat of a movement. The backbone and the spine of a movement. The arms and the legs and the feet and the head of a movement. And that's where it matters. That's what's important. If you see this video and you're saying to yourself, I can't do this anymore. I'm tired of fighting. I'm tired of feeling alone. I go to these events and there's only 20, 30, 40 people there. That's the ones that matter. Those are the ones that are important. Those are the ones that make a difference, and you can't give up. You can be the voice that's heard. You can be the voice that makes a difference, but you have to not give up, and you cannot become complacent. Do not become complacent. Don't quit. Fight harder. And as I reminded the crowd today, because the Commissar Tyrant Timmy of the People's State of Marxisota decided that he was going to loosen restrictions and end them by the end of May, and now the mask mandate is gone, and there's questions of whether or not it's going to involve people wearing or carrying Koof Jab passports or not, and how that's going to work, and all of that. All of that aside, he's trying to create complacency in patriotic people so that they forget what's been going on for the last year, and that's what happens in Minnesota. People forget, and they move on with their lives, and they want to put behind them the ugliness and the pain and the inconvenience of everything that's been happening, and the stripping away and the eroding away of our constitutional liberties, and all of that stuff has got to be put away so that they could forget what he did, so that he can get reelected, and so that they can do it to us again. But do not be complacent. Don't give up because there's only a small crowd. And don't think that you can't make a difference if it's only 1 or 2 or 3 of you. Because one person can affect 10 people, and those 10 can affect another 10, and those 10 can affect another 10. And that effect that they have can go on and on and on. And it can spread from a 3% of colonial patriots to an entire continent. If that can happen then, what can we do today with social media and electronic communications and all of that other stuff? Freedom is not just what takes place at a rally. Liberty is not just what you exercise when you go out and gather with 10, 20, 30, 40 other people. Liberty is your day-to-day living, and you must fight for it wherever you are, in the trenches, every day. Do not give up, and keep reminding the people who are elected that they are not the masters. They are the servants. They serve us, and they serve at our pleasure. That's what's important about events like today. Doesn't matter who shows up to speak. It doesn't matter if TC is there. It doesn't matter if Jim Hagedorn is there. It doesn't matter if some other name is there. What matters are the people who make up the movement, the people who make the decisions, and that is we the people. That's what matters. Never forget that. Never give up. Never surrender. And until next time, as I always say, sic semper tyrannis.